All right, folks, if you are an 80s baby like myself, you got a little bit excited because the Voltron cartoon is being turned into a full-on movie starring one Mr. Henry Cavill, being developed by Amazon. Like, I was, very, very, very excited about it. Then we got some sad news this week in that the theatrical release for the film has been canceled. My name is JD. This is Watch Stuff with Us, and we are discussing the theatrical release canceling of the Voltron movie. So, a little background. I am mid 40s. Voltron is something that was a big part of my childhood. I had the original die cast Voltron set with the metal lions. Like, it was amazing. And then I was a goofy one day and I decided to put them in the bathtub with me. And what happens when you place metal in the bathtub? It rusts. And that's exactly what happened to my amazing set of Voltron lions. So, outside of my toys, I loved watching the show. I even went and watched the more recent remakes of the show, which were okay. They were okay. But just knowing that one day, hopefully, we would be able to get this in theaters and in live action, I was super excited about it, especially once they dropped news that Henry Cavill was on board and going to star in the movie. I was like, hey, we got a chance, folks. We got a chance for this to actually be really, really, really good. So I just so happened to be browsing the internets the other day when I came across an article on X/Twitter, and it's from the Decider. And it says, fans of Voltron anxiously awaiting the release of the upcoming live action remake will not be heading to theaters to watch it. Amazon MGM Studios live action remake of the 80s animated series will head straight to streaming on Prime Video upon its release, Collider reports. According to the outlet, the movie was announced by the studio on Monday, May 11th. The exact release date has yet to be announced. So, um, this is a good thing and a bad thing. It is good that the studio realizes that this movie probably is not very great. And because of that, they are going to release it on streaming in order to mitigate the some of the financial burden that they've probably taken on by deciding to throw it into theaters, where whatever money you make, you're going to have to give up some of that money to the theaters as well. Um I feel as though that's a good thing for the studio to decide that. The one way that it makes me feel that it's not so good is that obviously the studio doesn't have confidence in this movie to be an actual moneymaker unless they are deciding to try to change the dynamic of the way movies are released. And with Amazon having their own streaming service, I kind of understand that. It makes a lot of sense to release, in my opinion, most movies on streaming. And, I'm a movie person. I'm not necessarily a theater person anymore, especially when, times are rough, man. It's hard enough to pay for groceries these days, let alone having to shell out, $20 a pop for a movie ticket. Then on top of that, if you have a larger family, you're talking about $150 after you buy tickets and snacks for everyone to watch that film. So it's not just something where, it's on a Saturday night, you can go and drop $50 and be able to have some entertainment for a few hours for you and your family. It is not like that. Those days are long gone. So because of all those things, them deciding to release it to Amazon streaming services only, um, is a bit of a rough finality for the movie. I think it can also be good in that um if you have something like this, you know that at least if it's free, not exactly free, but you're paying for the streaming service already. But if you can watch it on there at your leisure, you will probably get more eyes on the content than you would if you had everyone go to the theaters. It has a bad review, and then nobody decides to go see it, and then you face the embarrassment of having a movie that has a $70 million budget, only making $30 million in theaters. So you can avoid that. And if it is actually decent, it might gain some steam that way. And I hate to say it for the movie theaters, I want more films to be released this way. I think the theatrical release window should be smaller. There are a lot of channels that you watch out here, and you can tell that they are shills for the movie industry because they want people and they want these films to be released in theaters because they have connections to the theaters and they have connections to Hollywood. I think that model is changing. The people have spoken. People do not have money to go and watch these movies all the time in theaters. So you end up waiting anyway. I think the theater, as much as I enjoy that experience, I think the theater is sort of it's a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur at this point. And, 10 years from now, no one will be going to theaters. It will be a sad day to some extent because there are a lot of movie theater moments that I've had. Like I can think of the times when I've gone to see like Avengers Infinity War and walked out the theater with the entire theater silent. I could think of the feeling that I had when I watched Avengers Endgame in theaters and, everyone stood up cheering after that movie was over. I know how good it can be, but I feel like those times are changing now, unfortunately. And people just don't have the time or want to spend the money or put forth the effort to go to a theater to watch a movie. I can have just as much fun with the experience. Well, I should say outside of the experience. My TV, I have a 4K TV, a giant one at that. I have my own sofa. I can get my own snacks and I can sit there with my family and I can watch whatever movie I, would want to watch that way. And it's far cheaper than going and dropping $150 to go watch a movie in theaters. Yes, you are lacking the experience to some degree, but I think that that's something that we're going to have to give up for the convenience of being able to watch these movies at home. So I am very hopeful that this movie is actually not, it doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be not bad and good enough for, it to spark enough interest and enough views that maybe they decide to continue to develop it and move forward with a sequel for it. This is pie in the sky at this point because obviously the theater or the production company and Amazon don't have a ton of confidence in it, which is why they're doing this. But if it's good, it'll garner that attention and just due to the sheer availability of these films being online. So I hope that it's successful. I would love to see the theatrical window be and this is extreme. And I'm sure people who are movie theater shills would be mad at me. All those other people, they hate saying this, but 14 days, man, 2 weeks in the theaters. And then after that, drop it on, whatever streaming service. Even if you have to pay for it at home, I would have no problem dropping let's say if there was a new release of a movie that I really wanted to see and I had to pay $60 to watch it at home, I have no problem with that because I would be spending double that if I went to the theater. And even if it was just, you and another person watching it, you'd be spending close to $60 probably to watch that in a major city. So yeah, being able to do that and that amount might seem like a lot, but for a lot of people, that's way better of a time and experience and more comfortable to be able to watch those movies at home. I have sort of used this Voltron movie as a reason to jump on my soapbox about how I would like the theatrical window to be smaller, but let me know what you guys think. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop those comments, fight it out with me if you don't agree. But just know that Watch Stuff with Us will be in the mix in 2026. My name is JD, and I will see you when I see you. Peace and love.